Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, we are looking at the Tamashii Nation's Digivolving Spirits number 5 ALPHAMON, which digivolves from Dorumon. Is that right? Is that the name? Yeah, Dorumon. I barely remember these. It's been forever since I was into Digimon, but I still like it, and I think ALPHAMON's one of the coolest designs of anything ever. So this is a definite one I wanted to review for sure. This version, well, it may not be the best one they've done, okay? It may not be. It's still pretty solid, but there are definitely some issues. So let's go ahead and get it off the stand and take a closer look. This guy stands just about 5 inches to the top of his head, which makes him just about, let's say 12.5 centimeters. And this mode, if you want to call it a mode, this Digivolution, it's okay. From the front, it looks really solid. I mean, it's mostly really good other than these feet sticking up here. But the tail looks more like a really long body, and it's just kind of weird. And it's so finicky. This whole section is just a total mess. There's so many tiny little parts that barely snap together. It's a pain in the butt. This part's okay. The feet don't really function for anything. It's kind of worthless. That's why you noticed while it was spinning around on the display stand, it was leaning on its tail. And it does have a little stand thingy to help it balance, but it doesn't work. So balancing is definitely an issue for this guy, so it's kind of awkward. The head can't move at all. The arms are on ball pegs. Then the wings are on ball pegs. And that's about it. The feet moving is kind of worthless because they're supposed to be connected all the way up here. So it's just part of the transformation, really. So it looks good. The colors are nice. The separation's nice where it's painted and where it's obviously separate pieces. The eyes look good. The ears are good. So it's aesthetically okay. There's not a ton of kibble on it either. It's not a great representation of this mode. I don't think many people are buying these figures for the non-digivolved modes, so I think that's probably okay. It's definitely good enough in that regard, but it's not particularly impressive like this. The other mode, well, it's kind of awesome and then kind of not at the same time. So I'm going to go ahead and transform it, and then we'll switch over to that. Okay, so here he is transformed into ALPHAMON, and now he stands about 17.5 centimeters, which makes him just about 6 3/4 inches, and it's pretty good. I mean, well, it's almost pretty good. We'll get to the bad part in a minute, but from the front, it's really good. It's basically just your SH Figure Arts figure, standard SH Figure Arts with a hint of die-cast mixed in. It's really solid. In fact, I think it looks better than the SH Figure Arts. Just this part. We're not going to talk about the kibble yet. We'll get to that in a second. This part looks fantastic. The paint job's really good. You see the gold and the white accents all the way around. The red, very, very nicely done. Articulation's mostly good. We have some issues in the feet, but otherwise it's solid. We do have some interchangeable hands. We have the 2 fist hands that come on him. Then we have 2 open style pose hands, so that's kind of nice. The detailing on the face is really solid. I like it. Looks pretty good. All around, it's just a really, really nice figure. And we're going to go ahead and run the articulation. The head is on a ball peg, so it just kind of moves around up there. The neck is on a ball peg too, but it doesn't afford much actual posability. The arms are on a ball peg where they connect to the shoulder. The shoulder pads have their own hinge. These shoulder pads have their own hinge. And then the arm itself is on a hinge. So it's basically your standard figure arts type shoulder. So that's good. You have a bicep swivel in there. It's a little tricky to use because the arm likes to move around. But it does have a bicep swivel. A little bit better than 90 degrees in the elbow. It's technically a double joint. For the wrists, we have just a standard ball peg, but it's functional enough. It's okay. We see that a lot on most of the standard figure arts. Torso articulation is not there, so that's a problem. It's not exactly like a figure arts figure, but it's close. The hips are a combination of a swivel for going forward and back, which is okay. It's a little bit loose. And then we have a hinge going out to the side, which is okay, but of course his thigh armor gets in the way, so there's not much you can do about that. You do have a thigh swivel there. You have a double jointed knee. It's a little bit ugly, and because of all the kibble in the back, you can't bend it too much. But you do have the range there, technically. And then the foot is basically worthless. You get a little bit of a hinge here, which is part of the transformation, really. But you do get that. And so, as you can see, it looks good. If you're not going to pose it too much, you'll be more than happy with that if you don't look at it from the back or the side. Now, if you look at it from the side, you'll notice that his cape is just a giant, giant mess of kibble. It's awful. It's terrible. He's got a giant purple and white cape that looks like it looks like a fox fur that he's just hanging on his back, a purple fox. You see the face features, you see the feet are stuck onto the back of these feet. it's a total mess of kibble in the back. Unquestionably problematic. But if you're just going to stick him on a shelf and don't care about all of that stuff, then you can do it, and he's going to look okay. If I can get all the kibble out of the way so I can actually make him stand properly, that would be nice. You get the idea. Let's pose him a little bit, and you can see it doesn't look terrible from the front if you're only going to look at it from the front. So, do I recommend it? Well, if you're in this line, if you're into buying this line, then you know you're going to get some kibble. So this one's a pretty bad example, or a good example, I guess, of bad kibble, but the figure itself is still really solid. There's no opportunity to remove this kibble from his body like there was for ALPHAMON. So there is an issue there, but I think you probably expected it. And I think you're going to really like this, and you're probably interested in the transforming feature since that's why you're buying this line in the first place. So I'm going to say I recommend it as long as you understand that all of those things are part of the purchase. You're going to get all of those issues. Personally, if it was just this, without all the kibble, I'd recommend it 100% guaranteed no matter what, because the figure itself, aside from the kibble and transformation issues that limit articulation, very, very nicely done. Still looks really awesome. So you get my recommendation, but you need to consider these issues, obviously, because it definitely has a lot of the issues that this line had the potential for having, and so far have mostly avoided. This one has a lot of it. So you have to be careful, but it still does have a lot of redeeming quality to it. So there you go, guys. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, make sure you give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed, you might want to do that, because I have new videos up every single day. We talk about action figures, movies, TV shows, video games, all kinds of fun stuff. So make sure you come back for that. Turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of that. And in the meantime, keep collecting.